We begin with some breaking news that is coming in. In fact, it's not just breaking news, it's also a bit of good news. The Aurangabad minor who escaped a molestation bid on Sunday has now been discharged. In fact, she is now safely home with her family. It has happened barely 10 minutes ago. For almost 4 days, this 17-year-old was battling for her life in the ICU. But now, as I said, she's back home and hopefully on the road to recovery. If you're joining us for the first time, let me quickly recap the chilling details of the case for you. It happened on Sunday. This young NEET aspirant, a topper by the way, was returning home from her coaching center. Somewhere in the middle of the journey, the auto driver starts asking her inappropriate sexual questions. She fears she's in danger. He tries to molest her. That's when this brave daughter of Aurangabad throws herself out of the auto, a speeding auto, to escape the predator. But in the process, she hits her head on the road. She has severe head injuries. She is rushed to the ICU by a good Samaritan. You're seeing him on the motorbike there. And after 5 days, she's finally back home. That's straight where I'm headed. My colleague Shweta is with us. She's with the family of this young 17-year-old girl who was in hospital for the last 5 days and is now home. Shweta, a big relief for parents. One reason for them to smile today and thank God. We know what has happened with this young girl is something that will remain with her for a very long time. We also understand that this young girl is not in a position to speak, and we respect that. But you are with her family. Go ahead, please speak to them. Ask them how they feel at this moment, now that their young girl is back home.
Well, absolutely, Shreya. This is very fortunate where the survivor is back home and she is stable. Her condition is said to be, she is getting in a better position now because, you know, she has the support of entire country with her and with our special focus story. In fact, just a short while back, the entire family was thanking us. Let's straight away cut across to her father. Sir, आप पिछले 5 दिन से अस्पताल में थे. आज बेटी घर आ गई है. राहत महसूस हो रही होगी आपको. क्या कहना चाहिए?
आज मेरा कुछ तो भी पहले का पूर्वजन्म का पुण्य उसके लिए आज सही सलामत में मेरी बेटी मेरे घर पे आ गई. उसको क्या तकलीफ होगी उसकी उसकी मालूम है, मगर उनसे ज्यादा बाकी सब फैमिली हमारी डिस्टर्ब हो गई. हाँ बोलिए मैम. यस. हाँ ये जो है ना एकदम सेटिस्फैक्टरी काम है मैम, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से मैं ये इस पिक्चर में से गुजर रहा तो मेरे को नहीं लग रहा था कि मैं इसमें सक्सेस हो पाऊँ या नहीं हो पाऊँ, क्योंकि जिस ये घटना घट गई थी सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात ये थी क्योंकि मेरे पति जी को मेरे को सिर्फ पहले स्टेबल करना यही महत्वपूर्ण था. मैं ये नहीं सोचा, मैं 1-2 मिनट के अंदर वो स्टेज पे वहाँ पे पहुँच गया था. लेकिन ऊपर वाली की कुछ तो भी दया, वो इसी तरह मतलब जो लोगों ने वहाँ के स्थायी लोगों ने मतलब आजू बाजू के लोगों ने वहाँ से उसको उठाए, वहाँ पे ला लिए, थोड़ा सा ये कर लिए तो थोड़ा सा वो पूरी टोटली अनकॉन्शियस थी. वहीं पे मैं एकदम ठंडा गिर गया था. कुछ मेरे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा था कि मैं क्या करूँ. विदिन तो मेरे पूरे हाथ पे ही गल गए थे. सिचुएशन इतनी हार्ड हो गई थी. तो तुरंत मैंने मतलब बड़े भाई साहब को फोन किया कि इसको क्या करना है, हॉस्पिटल तो ले जाना. बड़े बोले ठीक है. बोले कहाँ ले जाना है. मैंने लगा सिटी केयर लेके जाओ या एमजीएम लेके जाओ या घाटी लेके जाओ. बोले तू जो भी बोलेगा वहाँ पे लेके जा, मैं 1-2 मिनट में आ सकता हूँ. बोले कोई भी वो थोड़ी सी आउट ऑफ तो तुरंत मैंने वहाँ से उठाया, मेरी बड़ी गाड़ी ले लिया. बड़ी गाड़ी के अंदर डाल के मैंने वहाँ से छोटे एमजीएम लेके गया. एमजीएम में जाने के बाद वो बोले बड़े एमजीएम में लेके जाना केस सीरियस है. तो वहाँ से जाने के बाद बड़े एमजीएम में मैं लेके गया तो वहाँ से सबसे मेरी जो भतीजी को सही ट्रीटमेंट वहीं से मिल गया. क्योंकि वहाँ पे जाने के बाद बच्ची को फर्स्ट मतलब जो अपघात विभाग में जाने के बाद जो ट्रीटमेंट है सही वहाँ से ट्रीटमेंट चालू हो गया. सर बोले उसको सर को ज़्यादा मार है, उसको सिटी स्कैन वगैरह करना पड़ेगा. उस चीज़ में फिर वो बाकी का ट्रीटमेंट वहाँ से चालू कर दिया. उस सर जी बोले आपको आईसीयू में रहने वाने वाला चलेगा. सर कोई दिक्कत नहीं मेरे लिए, क्योंकि मेरे को सिर्फ ये बच्ची को कोई भी मेरे को बचाना है, क्योंकि इसके साथ हादसा ही ऐसी हुआ कि मैं आपको नहीं बोल सकता. तो उस हिसाब से वहाँ से जो पिक्चर चालू हो गया तो डॉक्टर सबसे मेन महत्वपूर्ण बोले एमजीएम डॉक्टर उसके साथ जो ट्रीटमेंट किया एकदम नंबर 1 सही किया। कुछ भी मतलब डॉक्टर ने जो ट्रीटमेंट किया योग्य ट्रीटमेंट करने की वजह से वो सही मार्ग लग गया। दूसरी सबसे महत्वपूर्ण ये बात मेरे को इतनी खटक गई थी क्योंकि वो जो शब्द उन्होंने जो कहे गए थे वो मेरे लिए तो ऐसे लग गए थे, तीर के निशान लग गए थे। वो ऐसे लग रहा था ये बहुत ही गलत हो गया और सामने वाले ने नहीं बोलना चाहिए था। लेकिन अब क्या वो क्या था कौन था पता तो नहीं था, लेकिन उसके जो दिमाग होने की वजह से फिर उसने बोल दी कि ऐसी सी मेरे साथ हो गया और ऐसी सी होने की वजह से मैंने ऐसी सी ये कर लिया। और एक्चुअली उसको कुछ भी मतलब सूचित नहीं हो रहा था कि मैं क्या कर सकूँ। जिस टाइम से जो मतलब जो स्पॉट पे एक्चुअली हो गया था तो टोटली अनकॉन्शियस थी। तो उसके बाद में जो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण हॉस्पिटल में जाके ट्रीटमेंट मिल गया, वहाँ से जो एडमिट किया, फिर मेरे एक ही दिमाग में आ गया मैंने वाले एमएलसी दाखिल किया वाली एमएलसी इन्होंने हॉस्पिटल वालों ने भेजे या नहीं भेजा, अगर मैं खुद के जाके गुना दाखिल कर दूंगा सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है। मैं नीचे पहुंचा एमएलसी दाखिल है बोले, ऊपर हमने ऑनलाइन भेज दिए। तो सीधा मैं पुलिस स्टेशन गया। पुलिस स्टेशन जाने के बाद यहीं सर जी बोला हूँ मेरे साथ ऐसी किस्सा हो गया। तो सर जी ने वहाँ पे थोड़ा ही आगे पीछे नहीं सोच के बोली एमसी ये आपकी कॉपी की तरह। मैंने सर जी है। तो पूरा कॉपी देखते ही उन्होंने लगे साहब सीनियर साहब के पास गए, डॉक्टर दराड़े पीआई दराड़े साहब के पास गए। उन्होंने बता दिया ऐसी केस है। उन्होंने हार्ड एंड फास्ट में पीएसआई शेख सर उनको कहा इनके साथ जाओ एमजीएम में क्या है इनका ये जवाब ले लो और तुरंत कोई भी इसमें 19-20 कोई भी चीज नहीं होना चाहिए। उन्होंने कोई ऐसी कसरत नहीं छोड़ी। क्रांति चौक पुलिस का तो मैं तो इतना शुक्रगुजार करूंगा कि उन्होंने 12 घंटे अंदर वो आरोपी को उठा लिया। सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात क्योंकि वो जो गाड़ी का नंबर हम नहीं जान सकते थे। इतने शहर में शहर इतना बड़ा हुआ है, ये इतने बड़े शहर में उसको आरोपी को कहाँ ढूंढ सकते। अगर वो बच्ची अगर चली गई होती तो कौन जिम्मेदार रहता ये चीजों का। तो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बोले तो वो डॉक्टर दराड़े साहब के टीम वर्क इतना नंबर 1 काम किया। मैं उनका इतना शुक्रगुजार हूँ कि उन्होंने 4 दिन के अंदर पूरा ये सिस्टम से पूरा टोटली काम कर लिया। आरोपी को उठा ला लिया। सर
आपकी वजह से एक गुना दाखिल हुआ, लेकिन आप किस तरीके से अब प्रधान जी आप क्या देख रहे हैं कि जो आरोपी है केवल अरेस्ट होने से पूरा नहीं हो पाता, किस तरीके की और सजा क्या आप डिमांड कर रहे हैं?
उस आरोपी को इसकी कड़ी से कड़ी सजा होना, उसके बाद वो कि उसकी सजा देख के दूसरे आरोपी ने ऐसे लाइफ में कभी करना नहीं। कौन सी औरत और कौन सी लड़की की तरफ नजर उठा के नहीं देखे। ऐसी कड़ी से कड़ी सजा होना। उनको तो सही बोले तो फांसी की सजा होना। ऐसे लोगों को उनका उम्र का तजुर्बा नहीं कुछ नहीं। उनकी लड़की माँ बहन सब उनको घर पे छोड़ते और दूसरे के माँ बहन बेटी को छेड़ते हो। ऐसे बेवकूफ काम करते हो।
Well, Shreya, here you are hearing the painful voices of the family, in fact the relatives. Let me quickly pan the camera and show you the 2 cousins. In fact, the victim is also one among them, the NEET aspirant, and even these people are preparing for their NEET examination. They often go to classes together, and there's also a mother of the survivor along with the relatives of the survivor. I'll just quickly go to them and ask them about few things. आपसे बस मैं जानना चाहूंगी किस तरीके से ये पूरी प्रिपरेशन हो रही थी। आपने क्या इस वक्त, जैसे हमने देखा है विक्टिम के साथ जो हुआ है, कभी भी आपको इस तरीके की घटना खुदा ना खास्ता कभी इस तरीके से आपको कभी गुजरना पड़ा है, या आपकी कभी सहेलियों ने इस बारे में बात की है कि वो भी असुरक्षित महसूस करती हैं?
हाँ, मैंने एक सहेली को बताया था कि ये मेरे बहन के साथ ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है। तो उसने मुझे बताया था कि मेरी भी एक फ्रेंड थी, वो बहुत छोटी थी तब उसके साथ उसकी फ्रेंड थी, तो उसके पापा ने उसके साथ ऐसा किया था। मतलब वो बता रही थी कि उसे ले जा रहे थे, पर वो छोटी थी इसलिए उसे कुछ पता नहीं था ना ये कैसे करना, डिफेंस कैसे करना है, क्या कुछ करना है। तो वो भी वो चिल्लाने लगी तो लोग उसके पास आए, उसको हेल्प किए। तो वो इतनी मतलब लोगों के जाने के बाद वो जो उसके साथ हुआ है वो करने वाले अंकल थे ना, वो भाग गए, तो वो बच गई वहाँ से। हाँ, मतलब ऐसा भी इंसिडेंस हुआ था उसके साथ, वो भी रिक्शा में हुआ था।
वो भी रिक्शा में हुआ था। वेल आप कुछ बताना चाहेंगी, क्योंकि अक्सर आप जब पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट का उपयोग करती हैं तो अलग अलग प्रकार के लोग मिलते हैं, तो आपने कभी ऐसा कुछ एक्सपीरियंस किया हो या आपकी किसी सखी ने ऐसा कुछ एक्सपीरियंस किया हो?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ मैंने तो नहीं एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया, और मेरे फ्रेंड ने भी सच्चा उसने कुछ कहा नहीं है कि ऐसा कुछ हुआ है, इसलिए मुझे इसमें
माता जी क्या चाहती हैं, बस एक अरेस्ट काफी है आपके हिसाब से, या क्या सजा आप चाहती हैं? आप बता सकती हैं।
उनको लगता है कि उसको तारीख पे वो हमको नहीं चाहिए, उसको तुरंत सजा, अच्छे से कड़ी सजा होना चाहिए कि दूसरे लोग भी ऐसी हिम्मत ना करे ऐसे करने की। आज अगर वो बच्ची बच गई है, अगर वहां से दूसरी गाड़ी जाती रहती तो वो पूरा मैटर वही थम जाता, और फिर लोग क्या बोलते, उसने ही खुदकुशी किया, उसने ऐसा हुआ, वो उल्टा उसके ऊपर ही आ जाता। तो आज वो है, इसलिए ये सब हमको मालूम गिरा है ये सब। और ऐसे ऑटो वाले ऐसे करते हैं, ऐसे स्कूल और कॉलेज के सामने तो ऐसे बहुत सारे पीछे भी घड़ा है, वैसा हुआ है औरंगाबाद में, और होता भी है। और यहाँ पे अभी क्या है, ज्यादा नशीली चीजों का भी ज्यादा ये सपोर्ट लड़कों को मिलता है, तो बहुत सारे ऐसे घटती है, मगर कोई डर के वजह से तो कोई कंप्लेंट वगैरह वैसे कुछ नहीं करते। और बहुत सारे लड़के हैं बाहर से यहाँ पढ़ाई के लिए आते, और वो नहीं बोलते। अगर इनकी फैमिली पूरी सपोर्टिव है उस लड़की के लिए, वो चाचा 2-3 सब है, और सब कॉलोनी वाले भी अच्छे हैं, तो इन्होंने सब सपोर्ट किया सब उनको। अगर जो लड़की बाहर से आती उसको क्या सपोर्ट रहता है? ऐसा बहुत सारे लड़कियों के साथ हुआ होगा, मगर वो बोलते आरोपी में क्या है, अभी जामीन हो जाता, हाँ 2-3 महीने के बाद वो छूट जाता, फिर से उसको क्या है, तारीख पे तारीख चलता रहता है ऐसा सब। और वो नहीं चाहिए। अगर ये ऐसे मामलों में तो अभी वो खुद बोल रहा है, मैंने हाँ बोला है ऐसा, तो डिसीजन तो कुछ करना चाहिए ना, फास्ट, हार्ड एंड फास्ट। अभी नहीं हो पाया, उसको अरेस्ट किया, वो सब हुआ, मगर कुछ तो कायदे कानून ऐसे बदलने चाहिए। लड़कियों के ऐसे जो हिंसाचार है ऐसे, तो तुरंत अगर वो खुद बोल रहा है हाँ मैंने बोला है ऐसा, मैंने उसको तकलीफ दी है, तो फिर उसको क्यों छोड़ना?
Well, Shreya, this is the concern of the family members as well, that why when the accused is himself is telling the statement that he actually spoke absurd words to the minor, and here we are seeing just an arrest is not the resort what the family is also looking forward for. They want stringent actions to be taken upon the accused, so that, you know, such cases do not happen again.
Okay, Shweta, I thank you for creating us voices of the family from Aurangabad. It was important to hear them, hear the young girls, hear the father, hear the mother as well, hear the aunt as well. The good news is that the teen is now back home. She's stable, she's on the path to recovery, and she's with her family right now. So we leave the family, let them spend some time with their daughter who come back from hospital after 5 days. And I have to say this, and I have to give full marks to the family for standing up, going to the police station, registering a complaint, and ensuring that that auto driver gets arrested. And the lady who was speaking to you very rightly said, this is a young girl who has family support. There are many young girls who come to Aurangabad or to different parts of the country to study in Delhi, in Mumbai. They don't have family support. When something like this happens to them, it's only reasonable for us to understand why they will not go to a police station to register a complaint. They'll just say, chhod do. Now, the family is understandably emotional right now. Their daughter is back home. Shweta, thank you very much for that. But for a brief moment, let's put emotions aside. Let's focus on where this case stands legally. What are the charges on the driver? What is the maximum punishment he could get? And how long will that take in our legal system? First, the charges. Aurangabad police has booked the driver under 2 sections. The first is 354A, which is sexual harassment. Under this section, if a person demands sexual favors against a woman's will, they can get up to 3 years in prison. That's the maximum. The second charge on the auto driver is POCSO, the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. Now remember, the survivor is a minor, which means POCSO is applicable in this case. The FIR specifically mentions Section 12 of POCSO, which is again sexual harassment. Under this section, the maximum punishment is 3 years with a fine. Question is, will this predator get that? Well, that depends on if the prosecution can make the charges stick. And in India, that's a big if. Conviction rates for crime against women is around 29.8%, which means only 3 accused out of 10 get convicted. And don't forget the time lost. Case pendency rate in India is almost 95.5%, which means unless this case is handed to a fast-track court, this could drag on for months and months on end. Joining me now is Rajya Sabha MP Priyanka Chaturvedi. She's a Rajya Sabha MP from the state of Maharashtra. Priyanka, thank you very much for your time here on Mirror Now. My first question to you is this. All of us by now have seen that horrifying video that has come to us from Aurangabad. There are multiple things that strike you after seeing this video, but what is that one thing that horrified you the most?
What happened in Sambhaji Nagar is truly a reflection of the society we are living in and the everyday harassment that women have to face on a regular basis, on a basis of not prioritizing them and having to save themselves against such kind of crimes. It is unfortunate that today we are talking about a state which is leading in terms of development, which was leading in terms of women's safety, is now facing cases such as these. Today we have a government which does not have one single woman cabinet minister. Our Minister for Child and Women Welfare is a male. Has he spoken yet? Has the Chief Minister spoken yet? Has the government sought any accountability? And those are the times we're living in, not just in the state, but across the nation. And it agitates me to see how we continue to keep raising our voices, yet being ignored by the, those who happen to be in positions of power, predominantly male, continue to deny us our voice and continue to deny women the priority in terms of safety.
Priyanka, as part of the party which was in power in Maharashtra until very recently, what's your message to the people of Maharashtra? Because it's important to speak out, to make your voice count for each and every girl and woman as a citizen, and especially for you as a politician.
No, why should the women have the onus of speaking up, if I may ask? Women are speaking up. Who's listening is the question to be asked. Why can't the men who are overwhelmingly in this cabinet, in the state government, not speaking up? Isn't women's safety a priority for them? Actually, it's not, because they've chosen not to have any women in the cabinet. And I think that is the unfortunate truth of today, that as women, as the citizens of this nation, the entire onus lies on women to keep raising these voices. We continue to raise this in our spaces, but it is high time we seek accountability from those who are in positions of power. For example, today, what we are seeing in Sambhaji Nagar is a reflection of what the heinous crimes that we're seeing across the country. A union minister goes on record to say it is the woman who's responsible. These educated women end up going through live-in relationships, not listening to their parents, and facing crimes such as that poor, incident that's happened in Delhi, where a body was cut up into 35 odd pieces. And this is what the brazenness that we face on an everyday basis, that we as women legislators continue to speak up, continue to hope that there will be a better tomorrow for our women. We continue to hope that our voices will be heard. But every single instance such as this that comes across, where in Sambhaji Nagar especially, a state which is supposedly one of the safest states for women in this country, is now facing a similar challenge. It breaks my heart, and I will continue speaking up. I'm hoping the rest of the society, which includes its various diverse people, will also make this a priority.
Priyanka, today we have actually heard from Union Law Minister Kiran Rijiju, who's saying that the roadmap is ready for setting up fast-track courts, which will be specifically dealing with cases of crime against women. That is a good step.
In 2014, the very union law minister, he's a union law minister now, earlier he was a sports minister, the party he comes from, the Prime Minister of Bharatiya Janata Party, Shri Narendra Modi, had made this their election war cry. बहुत हुआ नारी पर वार, अब की बार मोदी सरकार. Have you seen any change in crime rates? Have you till date heard the Women and Child Welfare Minister of this country speak up on women's causes? Now, every time a crime is reported, you say, oh, fast track court mechanism is in place. Now, I want to understand how fast does the execution take place? It was Nirbhaya's mother's fight which finally led to the conclusion after years and years of her struggle and going to the courts to get a conviction. And what happens in case of conviction these days? Where is the law minister when Bilkis Bano's rapists are released and they are put out in the society? Where was the law minister when Sushil Sharma of the Naina Sahani Tandoor case was let out by the very same judiciary? After serving 23 years, he was there for lifetime imprisonment. Now, this comes in the rarest of rare crimes. What has happened in Sambhaji Nagar also should be looked at by the Mumbai High Court and should take suo motu action. What will happen to these perverts? These perverts, after some years of serving their sentence, will seek bail and they will be given good behavior certificates by those in positions of power. They will be let out in the same society and women will continue to face the brunt of the same very people who promise safety and empowerment for them. And that is what my problem is. In terms of conviction rate, how many are convicted in this country? How many are, after being convicted, are serving their full term? How many have been out on parole? How many have been out because of the good behavior certificates? How many have gone on to become relationship counselors after killing their wives? So this is the stark reality of this country. And I think we should be starting to talk about that and seeking questions and are seeking answers even from the law minister of this country.
And it's important to have these conversations every day. It's really important to have these conversations every day. Otherwise, a public memory is short in India. We just forget and we move on. That's our problem. We feel angry for 20 seconds, then we forget and we move on. Priyanka, we leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. I hope we continue to feel angry and I hope we don't forget and I hope we don't move on. The fact is that what has happened in Aurangabad could have happened in any Indian city. It could happen in Delhi, in Mumbai, it could happen in Calcutta, it could happen in Bangalore. No Indian city right now can claim to be safe for women, which is why this issue is invoking such a passionate response across the country, because every Indian woman knows what it's like to be constantly looking over their shoulders whenever they are out on the streets. My colleague Neha Hebale is in Bangalore speaking to a group of women in India's IT city, which is Bangalore. Remember, this is a city where people work night shifts, where they must take autos alone at night. Listen into what these women are telling us.
Absolutely. And that is a question that we're going to be taking to several independent women today in the country, in fact in Bengaluru. But the question really about how independent are they? Are they independent in terms of their safety? And that is something that, you know, we've been bringing up time and again through the campaign on Mirror Now as well. I'm going to bring this to you now, a mother of two and both who aren't minors, you know. Having said that, there is still some fear every time you let them out. You were mentioning this earlier.
Yes, I was. So I am a mother of two, a 24-year-old and a 17-year-old. While we're trying to give them wings to fly, be independent, go out, do their own thing, there is always, you know, the hours that my husband and I as parents spend on tracking where they are. We are multiple phone calls, finding out, have you reached, have you left, what time are you reaching home? And these are things that I don't want to subject my children to. I would love if there was, you know, the system was safe enough for them to be able to do whatever it is that they wanted to do without having to worry about their safety, especially their physical safety.
I think for me, in the past 25 years, I think this has not changed. The story is still the same. When I was a child, I have gone through similar experiences. And trust me, the trauma to come out of it is never enough. You just cannot come out of it. It's the first time probably I'm talking about it, but it's very difficult to, even that time at that age of 7 or 8 years, it was very difficult for me to tell this to my parents, to my teachers. So I think one of the things which I have experienced was just in the vicinity of my school. I'm sure school takes all the precautions, but there are times when teachers should specifically tell the students that if you go through any of these incidences, we are there to help you. So please let us know. I think none of them told me that time. Otherwise, I would have definitely, you know, put this point across my teachers. But yeah, I think that was never told to us that you should, you know, come and be brave. And So this, I don't think it has changed, but I think I don't know what mental strength she got to jump out of the auto, but it's really sad that had to happen.
Kids and as adults, we are rewarded for compliance, not for courage. If you have the courage to speak for yourself, you will be told to shut up, move out of the line, go out of the class, right? As a value, courage has been neglected. And that courage needs to be instilled right from the childhood to the corporates where you have a voice to speak for yourself. If you're being mistreated, then you need to stand up and speak. That finding that voice is very important. And collectively, we need to do that.
I will say take charge of your own safety. It's high time to tell the people that, oh, because of this it is happening. No, take charge of your own life. Take charge of your own life. Things will be sorted. Educate the people. That's all. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you know, really a bunch of very articulate voices over there spanning across, in fact, fields, all dealing with women or with children. And, you know, of course, while one would hope that this reaches out to the masses and that there is an attempt to bring a safer society, we'll really have to hope and pray that there are efforts also on by the government and the society on the whole to make this a safer society for women today.
Rupali Chakankar is Maharashtra's State Women Commission's chief. She is joining us on the broadcast. Thank you very much, Rupali ji, for joining us here on Mirror Now. This has happened under your watch. What has happened in Aurangabad has happened under your watch. Have you been able to analyze why it happened and why something like this should not have happened? Rupali ji, can you hear me? Okay, we'll let Rupali ji just fix her link. We'll quickly go to the political reactions we have gotten. And after that, hope that her link is fixed and then probably have a conversation with her. For the moment, the political reactions that have come in so far.
What I'm telling is you need a separate branch now of the police to handle only such type of cases. You know, police are engaged in bandobas. You have 6 ministers in Aurangabad. Hundreds of policemen are deployed for their security. Right. If those policemen are removed from the security of all these MLAs and all these ministers, right, they can be utilized for cracking these type of cases.
Right. Also at the same time, we are seeing Vishaka Samiti, which has been only for the women's security in Aurangabad.
All bogus things. Those are all bogus. Those are all committees which nothing happens.
छेड़छाड़ तो हो ही रही है, लेकिन अगर मंत्री भी महिलाओं के बारे में गलत सलत कुछ कहे तो क्या कार्रवाई हो रही है? ये कौन सा हिंदुत्व है? ये कौन सा हिंदुत्व है? क्या विचार है? ये क्या बाला साहब के विचार है? जो बात कही गई कि सोच जो होती है खून में नहीं विचारों में होती है, क्या विचार ये सोच बाला साहब की है? तो ठीक है, इसके ऊपर प्रेस अभी मैं करना ठीक नहीं मानता, क्योंकि बहुत लंबी चलेगी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस।
जो इस देश में जो हीनियस क्राइम होते हैं, रेप केस होते हैं, बच्चों का मर्डर होते हैं, महिलाओं के अगेंस्ट में यहाँ बहुत जो क्राइम्स या जो भी एट्रोसिटीज होते हैं, उसके खिलाफ हम लोगों ने स्पेशल कोर्ट्स बनाने का प्रावधान रखा और फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट्स और पॉक्सो एक्ट के तहत फास्ट ट्रैक स्पेशल कोर्ट्स बनाने के लिए हमने पूरा रोड मैप तैयार किया और क्रिमिनल अमेंडमेंट बिल लाए। सारे राज्य सरकार और हाई कोर्ट्स को हमने अर्ज किया है कि तुरंत सारा ये फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट और स्पेशल यहाँ की है